Laramie County schools decide on a policy to handle sexually explicit books. Funding has become available for wildlife crossings in what some officials call a messy death zone in southwest Wyoming. And a giant blob of warm water could mess up long-range winter forecasts in the Cowboy state. We'll take a look at these stories and more today from Wyoming's largest news organization. I'm Wendy Corr for Cowboy State Daily. Well, after some terse back and forth, school board members in Cheyenne updated their district's library policy to start creating a list of sexually explicit books from which parents can restrict their children's access. A majority of Laramie County School District 1 members voted in favor of the policy Monday, reports Cowboy State Daily's Claire McFarland.
Challengers can challenge a book for sexual content, and then a committee that contains at least one parent can then look and decide, oh, it's sexually explicit or it's not. Sexually explicit books can be taken out of elementary school libraries, but for the high school level, they would just get put onto a list of sexually explicit books. And that list will get offered up to parents every year. They can restrict their kids off of that list if they want to.
One board member who opposed the policy rebuked it as adverse to Wyoming's principles of limited government. Well, multiple wildlife crossings will be built on a 30-mile stretch of U.S. Highway 189 between Kemmerer and Evanston, which officials call a messy death zone for wildlife collisions. A $37 million federal grant will pay for the crossings, and Outdoors reporter Mark Hines says a $24.3 million federal grant has been recently announced to help fund the project.
I talked to one of the retired game and fish people that used to work there, and he said that highway cuts right through the middle of some vital winter range for two big mule deer herds, as well as there's a growing population of elk there and then a really hefty population of antelope.
There's an average of 80 vehicle collisions with deer each year along that stretch of highway. When it's completed, the project will include 5 wildlife underpasses, an overpass, and fencing to funnel animals toward the safe crossings. Well, the Wyoming Freedom Caucus is made up of the party's more hardline conservatives, while the Wyoming Caucus is considered to be more moderate Republicans. Both have been raising money ahead of what promises to be a divided and contentious election season, according to Cowboy State Daily's Leo Wolfson.
Both these two caucuses are kind of pitted against each other. The Wyoming Caucus was created in direct response to the Freedom Caucus and some of the activities it's been doing. And at the end of the day, both caucuses want to have the majority of the legislature in the House. They both want power, and they both want their candidates to win elections and not vice versa.
I'll be back with more news right after this.
At Hilltop Bank, we understand that buying a home is a big decision. That's why we're here to be your trusted partner on the path to home ownership. Our experienced mortgage team will guide you every step of the way, from pre-approval to closing. We offer competitive rates and a wide variety of home loan options to best suit your needs. With our local knowledge and personalized service, you'll feel confident and comfortable throughout the entire home buying process. Contact us today to start your journey toward home ownership. Hilltop Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
A 17-year-old Cheyenne teen has been found guilty of second-degree murder for killing a 15-year-old girl when he shot up a local park in late April. Crime and Courts reporter Claire McFarland says the 12-person jury in Laramie County District Court convicted Johnny Angel Munoz of second-degree murder Tuesday afternoon after deliberating for 8 hours Monday and Tuesday.
Munoz will be sentenced at a later date, so he could face any sentence from 20 years in prison to life in prison under the second-degree statute. Before they can sentence him, probation and parole workers, they'll research his life and his potential for rehabilitation and write a report about him.
The second-degree murder conviction means that while he was still 16, Munoz rode past Cheyenne's Lincoln Park in a friend's Suburban and fired a pistol into a crowded basketball court, killing Bailey Carabajal Clark with malice, but without premeditation. And when it comes to weather, nothing beats the ominous hallmarks of an El Niño season. Now there seems to be a large mass of warm water in the Pacific associated with the seasonal weather pattern that has many people wondering what it means. That includes meteorologist Don Day, who told Cowboy State Daily's Andrew Rossi that there's now an area in the northwest region of the Pacific where the water temperature is warmer than usual for an El Niño state.
It's not changing the El Niño entirely, but it is changing how it impacts certain areas. So it still might be drought in some areas and a lot of moisture in others, but it might not be as bad in either direction or as extreme.
And that's today's news. You can get your free digital subscription to Wyoming's only statewide newspaper by hitting the subscribe button on CowboyStateDaily.com. I'm Wendy Corr for Cowboy State Daily.